Before everyone obviously comments it and makes it blatantly obvious, yes, this is a double recording. I am doing game week 14 and 15 on the same day. Let's just work on the fact that I'm a fucking genius and everything in game week 14 is correct, just so that I don't have to bother with recording 2 videos, because ain't nobody got time for that shit. Game week 15 has some Titan affairs ready for you, such as West Ham Wolves, Ipswich Bournemouth, and of course the biggest of the lot, Leicester Brighton. Only kidding. Today we're going to start off with the Merseyside derby at Goodison Park, Everton versus Liverpool. Obviously, if you don't know what the Merseyside derby is, then you aren't a real football fan. I'm going to go for Liverpool 5, Everton 1. I just feel like Liverpool are unstoppable right now. Obviously, having won against Newcastle last week, probably because Newcastle are shit like at the minute, and Everton are just relegation threatened, have been all season. It's hard not to predict Liverpool to keep this winning machine going under Arne Slot. As for goal scorers, Everton will be Abdoulaye Doucouré. Of course, it's going to be a fucking long shot because that's the only goals he seems to score. Liverpool, on the other hand, I think Salah will get a brace. I think Diaz will get one. I think Virgil van Dijk will get one in back-to-back game weeks. Haven't predicted him to score against Newcastle. And I believe that Andy Robertson will get a goal as well. I just feel like Liverpool are due an absolute hammering of Everton. There's been a couple of closer results in recent times, but I just don't see it this occasion. So there you go, that is the Merseyside derby done. Now on to the rest of the boring games. We've got Brentford and Newcastle playing second on Saturday the 7th of December. Not an early Christmas present, I don't suspect, for either team, because I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Newcastle haven't been consistent enough. We've been absolutely terrible at times, particularly against Forest and... was it Forest? Yeah, I think it was. And West Ham spring to mind immediately. Palace last week as well, when we weren't brilliant. We just seem to be grossly inconsistent. There seems to be a disconnect between the pressing. We don't press as aggressively as what we used to. I'm sounding like an old age pensioner, ain't I? But I just don't feel like we've been good enough this season. I said in my last video I don't think Eddie Howe's going to get the sack, and I do believe that's going to be true. I think you'll get to at least January and he'll get the stuff in the transfer market if he gets backed, and maybe that changes our fortunes. We are ultimately only a few points outside of Europe, but this will widen the gap even more. Brentford, 2 wins on the bounce if my predictions are correct. Obviously they battered Wolves 4-2 in the actual real life game, and as for the predictions video I've just done, I predicted them to win. Can't even remember who they're playing against. That's memory like a goldfish. As for goal scorers, I think is it Rico Henry? Can't remember. Henry will get a goal, and I believe that for us probably Bruno will get the goal, because he's due something. I mean, he is the captain after all, and probably is, well, definitely is our best midfielder apart from Joe Linton, to be honest, because he's been outstanding in pretty much every single game. But there you go, that's my predictions. Aston Villa Southampton, Titan affair, of course, 5-0 Villa. I think it's going to be a very competitive game, 5-0. Goal scorers, Ollie Watkins hat-trick, John Duran with a goal, and I believe Morgan Rogers will get a goal as well. I just feel like Villa are due to get a win, back on the bounce, and I think against what is a relegation threatened team who look to be almost certainly one of the 3 to drop into the Championship, it's going to be a big win. It's going to be the first in a long time at Villa Park, and that is my opinion. I think it's blatantly obvious. I don't think Russell Martin is a good enough coach in the Premier League, and the results seem to prove that. They've had a couple of good performances, Southampton, but I just don't think this will be one of them. Palace and Man City, given their losing streak, I predicted Man City to win in my game week 14. I don't believe they're going to get 2 wins on the bounce. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw at Palace. The way that we played against Palace, obviously Newcastle, we were great for the first half. Terrible second half, and obviously Palace came into the game, scored a late goal. The way I see this one playing out is Palace are a little bit more confident. I feel like, again, Man City are down on their luck. They lost to Liverpool in real life a couple of weeks ago, or last week. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, and I think it's going to be Eberechi Eze for Palace, and I believe that Jack Grealish will score for Man City. He'll probably come off the bench because I don't think Pep likes playing Jack Grealish that much. But there you go, I think it's a 1-1 draw. I think the bad run of form continues for Manchester City. Man United and Nottingham Forest, 1-1 draw. Amarim will start off fairly positively, but I just don't think they're going to get a win over a Nuno Santo team that seems to not be lacking anything. They don't lack belief or confidence in themselves, and it's an admirable quality for sure, but for a team that was 17th last season, when all things were considered and all games were played, you've got to look at them and say, okay, they have been competitive, they've been lingering outside of the European places pretty much all season. You've got to put some respect on their name. For goal scorers, Chris Wood, of course, always a shoe-in for Nottingham Forest, and they've basically built that team to supply him, which is a really, really good thing that they've done. Nuno and his coaching staff. As for Man United, everything's still raw, everything's still trying to be put together, but I believe that there's a couple of players in there that are going to be really big for them. I'm going to go for Bruno Fernandes to get the goal for Manchester United at Old Trafford. Fulham and Arsenal, now you could argue that Craven Cottage is one of the hardest stadiums to play in. Nearly every team struggles. Now, don't get me wrong, there's been a few hammer-ins of Fulham at their home stadium, but I genuinely don't believe that this is one of them. They've got Bernd Leno in goal, and Arsenal, or a former Arsenal number one, who always has a point to prove against his former side, is an incredible keeper as well. For that reason, I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Arsenal. I think it's going to be very narrow. I think Emile Smith-Rowe will get the goal against his former club, for Fulham, of course. And I think Arsenal, Bukayo Saka will get one, and Kai Havertz will get one. I just feel like Arsenal are a great team. They just haven't clicked this season. Same with Man City. I feel like Man City are going downwards, whereas Arteta's very much coming upwards with Arsenal. I mean, they've been in two title challenges in a row. Is there a room for a third one? Maybe this time they win it, but given Liverpool's margin, doesn't look likely. But again, I think a win will contribute towards that confidence, and maybe this is the start of a win and run for Arsenal. Leicester City and Brighton. It's a Brighton win. Let's not beat around the bush here. It's 2-0. Yankuba Minteh and João Pedro to get the goals for Brighton. It's just Leicester seem to be a bit of a basket case. They sacked Steve Cooper only a couple of weeks ago. Ruud van Nistelrooy, fair enough, has come in, and yeah, he lost 4-0 in his first game, but you can see he's going to try and build something there. He did with PSV Eindhoven, I believe it was, or Feyenoord. Can't remember which. I think it was PSV. But I do feel like he's a very good manager. He just needs to take a bit of time. This is a weak Leicester team compared to what we used to, and yeah, I just feel like it's going to be a 2-0 defeat. Ipswich Town and Bournemouth. I predicted Ipswich to win last week in my Gameweek 14, and Bournemouth again finding form hard to come by. I'm going to go for a Bournemouth win though. I think Antoine Semenyo, obviously been incredible pretty much all season long. He's going to get another goal to his tally, and Ipswich will feel at keeping them out. Both teams will be fairly competitive in the game. Bournemouth will dominate possession, shots, pretty much every major statistic, but I feel like Ipswich will battle hard. It'll just be an unfortunate goal to concede, probably on a quick counter-attack. Tottenham and Chelsea. What can I say about this game? Both teams are in a decent vein of form. Obviously, Tottenham coming off the back of 4 points from 2 games, which isn't perfect, obviously, but it's pretty good for the teams that they've faced. I mean, Man City, Fulham. Obviously, last week I think I predicted Tottenham to win again, so this would make it basically 10 points from a possible 12 if they were to win the games that I'm predicting. I'm not going to go for that. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. All big games end in 1-1 draws. I keep going back to that old adage, but I do genuinely believe that these two teams, one's in good form and one's well drilled. Chelsea are excellently drilled. They are currently sitting, I think it's either third or fourth in the league, and with a young team as they are, this could cause a lot of teams a lot of problems. I'm going to go for 1-1. I think it's going to be Noni Madueke for Chelsea, and I think Heung-min Son for Spurs. Finally, in this game week, I'm going to go for West Ham and Wolves. Now, two teams that are struggling, two teams that are really low on confidence. I mean, West Ham, yeah, got a win against Newcastle a couple of weeks ago. Fuck you guys. But by a season perspective, have not been anywhere near it. Everyone was expecting them to kick on under Julian Lopetegui, given the investment and given that Moyes had guided them to multiple European qualification spots. I feel like it's going to be a mid-table finish for West Ham, and I think Wolves are in genuine danger of going back down to the Championship. With that being said, I think Wolves will get another 3 points on the board away from home. I'm going to say 3-1 to Wolves. I'm going to say, for goal scorers, Jørgen Strand Larsen will get 1 for Wolves. I think the other 2 will come through. Trying to think members of Wolves teams. I don't know the team that well, to be honest. You know what, fuck it. Strand Larsen with 2, Mario Lemina with 1. There you go, sorted. As for West Ham, I'm going to say there's a couple of teams in there that, well, a couple of players in there rather, that are brilliant players. I'm going to say Lucas Paquetá will get the goal for West Ham. Ultimately, it won't be enough. They lose 3-1 and everything's right with the world. Anyway, that will be game week 15. I apologise for getting my voice down. I just don't want to shout or anything like that, and I feel like there's something stuck in my throat, so I've done fairly well to do this without a drink. Thank you very much for watching this video, and if you did enjoy it, leave a like, subscribe and all that good shit, and I will see you probably next week with another video. Obviously you've got your Premier League ones coming thick and fast. Game week 14 and 15 out this week. There's another double game week in December, so keep your eye out for that. And yeah, I'll see you around, I suppose, and I'll enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye for now.